more.
It's
Yeah,
like
and
when you're
then-
lifting weights, you just need that.
But the hardest thing was watching all of that and then yelling out, slow down. I kept saying, I know you want to run to shore. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Because you're right there.
Because it
I was
would
trying to
twist
hold
the
you up while you were
caterpillar,
trying to push him up.
because Amy and Christina were getting ahead of me,
Mm-hmm.
and that would then put the brunt of the water on the nose,
Yeah.
and it was twisting me back out to the river, which is kind of where I fell.
Which-
too, but-
Once I figured that out, I was really trying
Yeah.
to slow down.
Well, we made it.
You know.
And we had to go to the post.
And then we got
because
into
wanted
the
to
puddles
check.
of water on the island, and they felt warm.
Yes.
And they
Some
were
of them were
freezing.
warmer
you
than
know?
others.
Others.
Yeah. You know,
Thank you, Christina.
you know,
I'm just gonna say, if you gotta pee anywhere, do it outside of the river, because there's no way you can think to get it inside the river. And so here I am, just standing between my friends. Everybody's holding my hands.
We were
It's
standing
my time to
there
pee.
at the secondary crossing, it was a small stream. And I look at Christina, and she going, I'm peeing now.
It gets worse. She decides to rinse, but doesn't tell us, so she goes down. And, she has the baby in the back, and I was like, what? She said, I'm just rinsing off.
Let's not forget the log crossing with the ropes.
Oh, God.
What
I
happened?
don't even know exactly what happened
Well,
there.
that's-
You guys
I
saw.
almost
Well,
didn't.
Lacey
You were
went-
very acrobatic.
Oh, my
Lacey
God.
went first.
that's going a little bit forward. Let's go a little bit forward.
We want to back up a little?
Yeah, back
Okay.
up.
I'd
Because
like to
that's
talk about Brooklyn Crossing.
because that's
Oh, yeah.
after the ladder.
No,
Okay.
that was
No, that's
before.
before.
Long
That's
That's
before the
what
ladder.
the roads?
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah.
That was
because
that
there's
first
three of
one.
them.
The
The
very
first one,
first
okay, the
one.
first
The
one.
very
Oh,
first
yeah, yeah,
Where
long
Zena wouldn't
before.
go across.
Okay.
But
We all fell in.
But
the
Lacey
way-
goes across, and her
For no
sleeping
reason.
bag is not on real tight, and so she's going across on these
It's
two
one
logs,
log.
and these
It
ropes
was
are
two.
going and she goes like this, and her pack goes hanging out here, wanting to pull her over, but she was able to keep her balance.
Well, the only
Yeah.
benefit of our side where we're all at holding the ropes taut. Once she got across, now we had two people holding the ropes
Right.
taut.
Yeah, that lot of good that did me.
Oh, that was something
That was
else.
quite a somersault.
I got out.
I felt like when you did the somersault over or under the rope, I don't remember which
I don't
way.
even know how that works.
And then
It was
Grace
under
stands-
over the rope, is what it was.
Yeah.
And she stands on the bottom with all this water rushing. I wanted to give out Olympic cards.
And then she pulled herself back up too. She did.
Oh, I was getting right the heck out.
Then
of
all
there.
of a sudden, we're not
nope,
doing
not
that.
going down the river.
We're not crossing that way. So we found a different way.
And Lacey came down again.
Yes, she did.
No, Lacey didn't just come down. Lacey
know.
walks straight back through the river and walks back through it with us again to get Xena, but Xena's like dragging her all the way
Yeah.
Oh.
in the middle of the better
Yeah, I'm
part of the
behind,
current.
I'm
you know?
behind a tree changing my clothes, watching you go down. It's like, well, now there's nothing I can do to help her.
Yeah, I turn around, and there comes Lacey. Wham! Slams into the log right there
Oh,
by
yeah.
the crossing. I was like, what the hell?
That
And
was.
if you hadn't stopped, there was a sweeper 20 yards down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Creepy.
Oh,
I
yeah.
had already had my
Yeah.
rope off.
Caught in the
I was
corner.
like,
Well, see, Xena, I was hoping she would again follow me across the river because it wasn't that wide or anything or that
I'm
deep.
watching her.
But she tried, and then Lacey was on her way across, and Lacey went
She's
to go
gonna-
after Xena. Xena's like, no, thank you. I
Yeah.
want any part of that. Ran off from her and ran to where we first looked at, where we were crossing the river at. And she had grabbed a hold of Xena with her life vest. And then after that, it was she just took Lacey all over the place. And Lacey made it just where she was about ready to be at the cross. Xena pulled just a little bit too hard, and bam, down she goes. And I'm just like, oh my God. She banged her knees on those rocks right there, and
How many times did you bang your knees on this trip? How were you walking by the end of it?
4 or 5 times each knee at least.
yeah.
yeah, we
I'm
had a
glad you're
couple-
alive.
we had quite a few of those crossings. Some of them were a little better designed than others.
I'm not a fan
more
of the
people
one where I
in
fell
them.
in.
I liked it when we had the handle. That was very
Yeah, that
nice.
was
Oh yeah,
lovely.
right there when we just got close to base camp.
Oh, I'm just sitting there like, oh yeah, this is easy. This is way better than the
But one
last
of
one.
those was just a log, and I was just so tired at that point that I was starting to lose my balance. And I think I had started out either in the lead or 1 or 2 people behind. And I sat down. I was done.
I sat down
I think I gave a few
once.
curse words. I was was like,
I
I
do
am no
remember
longer
something
going.
like that, yeah.
That stinky mud.
Oh, yeah, that
Oh.
was nasty.
Yeah, well, we gotta backtrack a little bit before we get to the swamp. Because we got, when we got across the river and everything, and we're following the path, I mean, it's all laid out, we can't miss it. And all of a sudden it just ends. And you could go through woods, you gotta do bushwhacking and everything else. And I was going one way, Lacey was going the other way. So I was on the left, she's on the right. And then we all of a sudden we meet up together as everybody's following us. Right in front of us at this point, there is a part of a moose carcass laying on the ground right there. You know, it was pure white and everything, and that was no black bear that took out that moose. Me and Lacey both knew that. And so we didn't tell anybody else. But
I think the rest of us figured it out. We're not
right,
stupid.
no, you don't know this part. Zena and I knew because, like she did with me and you, she stopped and didn't want us to go any further. That grizzly was still there on that plateau. That's why I took us into that open field so I could see 360 away around, you know, no more bushwhacking. And that's why we stayed on that field, and we found the path that way. But that's why I put us out there so we could see what's going on, because that grizzly was still there.
Oh, yeah.
And
think
I didn't want
it's
to tell anybody
I think
about
it's
that.
off.
It was we already had enough at this point.
Well, and to be
You know.
fair, I think I was still regaining some of the feeling in my feet. Like I wasn't moving very much. It was Warren was just barely getting me by. We lost some food right then. You know, like we had no idea what was going on. You know, we were trying to find everybody else and like try to find this trail that everybody's found. You know, but we had to get out.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a thing though. If it's that fresh, then probably, you know, something's still there.
Right, but I didn't want to put that on either of you guys' mind that, hey, Zena knows something's right there. Lacey,
At that
she
point,
kind
I
of
was
knew it
figuring, hey,
too.
let's get the heck out of here.
But, you know, when we had crossed that, me and Lacey, we came upon this tree. We both saw it. But Lacey's like, there's an icicle. There was an icicle hanging out the tree. Now I understood why I was so freaking cold. You know, in those fast as we were moving, still chilled to the bone. There was an icicle sitting there. We're just like, okay, that's it. Just kept on going
And
out.
that's before that nasty thing.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was,
that.
I
yeah.
feel like that freaking sun came out right as we made it to camp.
It did.
And I was
It absolutely
so
did.
angry.
Yeah.
Like, how dare it shine down on our.
We got some really.
Okay. After we had got across the river, we got into some nice hiking territory. There weren't too many swamps. We were actually warming up. And then we ended up getting along the banks again and going up high along the river. And you could see the river was high. And just about the time we thought we were close to the ladder, which we had heard so much about, you guys were way up ahead, and Christina and I were in the back, working our way up. And Amy said, that's it, I can't go any further, because she felt a pack was going to pull her off the ledge.
It tried to.
And we thought, okay, just about then, there was a path behind us that went very steeply down to the river and looked like it ended in the river. And there was a rope there to hang on to. And there I see,
There's somebody
dropping
down there!
in from heaven, Clark, looking like he knows what's going on. He's got his rope around him, and he comes scooting up that steep trail. He says, how you guys doing? We're up here. I mean, he just took charge. He knew what he was doing, and he was very helpful, and I think it gave everybody confidence that we're going to get back on the trail, we're going to do it. And it was just really, really wonderful to see him.
I mean, it couldn't have been a better time
It
for
couldn't have
Clark
been
to
a
show
better.
up.
I said, were you waiting there for us? Knowing that this was going to be so bad? It was just, no, he said, I just go ahead.
Right
Yeah.
at that
Worked out
point,
perfect.
the trail had washed out, and so
It
we
washed
were
out.
gonna have quite the traversing to do. I mean, and we did. And thank goodness he had that rope, because next thing you know, I've got this baby on my front, my pack on my back. I weighed it all later. It was about 80 pounds total, and I'm basically swinging like George of the Jungle with this rope around this boulder. And I'm like, there's nothing I could. I never ever would repeat this again with a baby. Like, I would never scale a boulder like this with a baby on my front. But I have to right now.
You have to.
For the
yeah.
sake of my child's life.
Right.
this is something I have to do right now, and there's no question about whether or not I'm going to do it and do it successfully.
Yeah, when we got to base camp though, I mean, we were beat, we were done. I mean, after everything we just went through and all the river crossings, the swamps.
But before that, how many people had heard it's a half a mile to 2/3 of a mile? If Clark would have said that one more time.
Once I figured it out, I started cursing
He was flatlined.
How about that?
Yeah.
Don't feel bad, he's doing it to us too.
But once we all got to camp, the consensus was everybody wanted to stop at camp. We wanted to take a break and eat. It's like, no, we're just going to take 10 minutes, do whatever. We got to push on. And then Serena and them, took these guys out. They were up there ahead of us. When me and Gail just got around the perch, Trina had called.
I was there with
Warren
you.
was with us too. Trina had called and said that Tony was having trouble. And tried chewing his ass out over the radio and it didn't do too good. Apparently, she had threatened to divorce you. We sent Warren ahead with the walkie, who got it to Clark and was telling him what was going on. We were communicating. But one thing that Tony and Trina didn't realize is that we were waiting at the same spot when we were radioed out. We got the message. We were not leaving them behind. And they thought we were still pushing forward. And we had refused to because we were just going to stay there, grab our packs if we needed to. And then when Clark was coming down, he told us on the radio that him and the ranger says we got to get to moving. And so we started moving slowly, which was the perfect time because Zena was still cold. But when we got to the parking lot and saw all these people up there, I mean, I look up and I'm like, where are all these people going? I'm like, whatever. And I was just glad to be here, and I look back up and I see Lily. Big old smiles came over my face. And then I get up top and see Charlie and everybody else and Angela and Chrissy. I mean, those two, they wouldn't let me take another step without changing my clothes. There was no stopping them. So I had to forget my modest and go in front of the truck and change clothes. But it was so overwhelming that it was even hard to cry at that point because I was in such shock seeing everybody up there to support us.
I really was too.
Yeah.
We had no idea.
No, we had no idea.
No.
They're like, oh no, you guys should just go home before everybody else is.
Because I said to Lisa had too. Yeah.
You have to stay until everyone was
We'll give you
there.
rides.
Well,
No,
and
we
the
gotta know
more
what happens.
incredible thing is we were so cold that we felt like we had warmed up. And I noticed it with myself, and I tried convincing you guys when she got there, and you thought the same thing. Like we're good. We hiked out. We're warm.
Yeah.
But finally getting my third or fourth change of clothes that day on, I was like, oh, hey, I'm not okay.
Yeah, this is not.
Pretty wet.
Yeah.
Once we knew Anthony was okay, we wanted to hike out the rest of the way, but they finally caught up. Well, it took a little while. At first we were like, we'll take a ride. But then we were like, okay, they're never coming. Where's these four-wheelers if they're here?
Yeah.
So we kept going, and then finally they were like, okay, get in. And Clark said, trust me, get in. Well, I didn't know the surprise that was waiting.
Yeah.
So that's the only part where I sort of lost it, is coming up the hill. Of course, he guns it. The four-wheeler does this little thing, and I don't have a helmet on. So I thought, I made it this whole way, I'm going to get a head injury. But coming around the thing and seeing all that support, that's when I was like,
Imagine that bumpy ride trying to keep his honkers next to
Oh,
I'm sitting here, I'm facing the mud, right behind the mud flaps. It's all just going in my face. But I've got I'm smiling as big as I possibly can because I'm bracing her face up against the fat in my cheeks. I'm like, stay here. Serena's just watching this, holding on to her 110-pound lab, just laughing at the fact that I'm just covered in mud. She's like, count it as a facial. I'm like, I'm perfectly content with that. Right now, this is the joy of the journey. This is probably the most beautiful thing I've ever done. It's just having an opportunity to enjoy all this mud and all this pain and all this cold, and this is the beauty of why I did it.
When Anthony was having trouble, and you two stopped and waited for him and sent me on ahead, before I got to
with that
the
other couple.
yeah,
The
there was a
no-name
young couple that had hiked in behind us, and they were beat at that point
Yeah.
too. I was waiting for them. They were dragging
Oh, wow.
more than I was. But because I was trying to go faster to get to Clark and then get to the
Okay.
ranger. But at least talk to either.
Oh,
But when I came around the corner from the nature center, and I hear, there's Warren, and there's clapping and yelling, and Ileana's running to me with a blanket, I'm just going, hell? I was overwhelmed.
I know, I barely got off the wheel.
Yeah.
I
just assumed I was gonna have to wait outside the car when I got back.
She's like, I love you, where have you been? Don't ever do that again.
It was wonderful. It was such a warm welcome.
Yes.
That made up for everything. And I just can't imagine all those people staying there waiting
I
for
know.
us. I was
All
just
day, were they there all day?
shocked all day long.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because there's quite a few that were
It was
there
like- it
for
was like-
most
it was
part
like
of the day.
11:30 when we arrived.
Really? Is that late?
Yeah. 'cause-
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 11:30 when we got
And
up
we
top.
expected you guys by, we were hoping mid-morning, late afternoon. And then you guys didn't even show up till, what was it, like 5:30, something like
We're
that?
just trucking through.
I mean,
And
it
there
was
was-
getting dark right when they got into the parking lot, so there was still more people out on the
Yeah.
front as it was
Yeah.
getting dark.
There was
Alright.
definite beauty in there, like the glacier and everything else.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then on one of our log crossings on that swampy trail back, Clark went.
Oh, yeah.
Full body
Oh.
crash into the water.
Oh, no.
Take his breath away.
Yeah.
And then he was like, well, I'm already wet.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
All right.
listening to your guys' story here, you guys had one heck of a tale, but we know that there's still more to tell, but we are out of time at this
Yeah.
time. One more question for everybody. Who's ready to do it next weekend?
Not next week, but again, yes.
Yeah,
Maybe next year I'll think
June,
about
July,
it.
I've said it a few
a little
times, I
sunny
know.
weather.
Maybe in a couple years.